Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the today's session of Saturday Talk by JanyuTech. Today, once again, we are having Dr. Arunkumar Sampath for delivering today's session. A brief introduction for the new people of Arunji. Dr. Arunkumar Sampath has 27 years of experience in the gamut of automotive and aerospace defense fields, including sustainable mobility, 5G networks, AI and edge computing, HEV, EV, hydrogen and fuel cells, drones, and air taxis. He has also worked on autonomous and connected technologies, automotive electronics, cybersecurity, and EV charge.
As you are aware, India today is the fifth largest, and we have ambitions to become the third largest in the next few years. And the biggest challenge in India has been the turnaround time in the ports and also the logistics. You may be aware about 8-9 years ago, out of some 160-170 countries, we were ranked about 130 or so, the global ease of business, and then very bad with respect to freight transportation, etc. That's one thing. The second thing is, consistently over the last 60 years, the freight that used to be travel by train, the rail network that India has one of the largest rail networks in the world. Unfortunately, the freight has come down from almost like 40-50% to about say 5 to 10% in the last few years, because the population kept going higher and people started giving more and more priority to moving people than moving goods. So you notice that the goods trains are always running slow. Maybe they are 25 kilometers per hour on an average. Number one. Number two, they are inordinately delayed because the passenger trains get the preference. So there has been a need felt by Niti Aayog, and as per the direction from Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, that we have to do something. We have to figure out how do we enable the goods movement. Number one. Number two, reduce the red tape and clear the through a single window. How do you do it? And then how do we improve the ease of doing business? So some of these initiatives have been done. I will get a chance to present some of those slides towards the end. But first few slides, about 10 slides, I will talk about the technology and then see how this technology has been adapted even in India, and then how we can make it forward. Okay, that's the sequence of presentation. So what you notice here is AI has many applications, literally right from banking and finance, transport, retail, education, communication, gaming, cybersecurity, everywhere. The name it, you have it with respect to AI. So in fact, you notice that even when you type something in WhatsApp, when you're trying to type a message, immediately it tries to fill the word for you, autofill, or it will try to guess the next word. So even when you're trying to type something, it is able to give you a feel for what should be the next word, because it is able to figure out through the natural language processing what are the thought processes and what is the next potential word that you may be typing it there. That's number one. Number two, if you have to not type, but if you have to speak, and if you want to convert the speech to text, that is also available. That's number two. Number three, if you want to send specific audio, video messages, etc., and then you want to disseminate that information to the other folks, that is also possible. So what we are trying to do here is, in fact, what you notice is today, Walmart has invested a chunk of money in Flipkart, and Amazon. India is one of the largest markets for Amazon, and in fact Walmart also. And they are trying to increase the sourcing and also the market for e-commerce in India. Okay. And strangely, I read a news item about 5-6 years ago that even MTC was adapting artificial intelligence. The Metropolitan Transport Corporation in Chennai, which is supposed to be notoriously corrupt and notoriously state government controlled. I was wondering how AI would fit into MTC, but it appears that they are trying to figure out how do they convert non-AC buses to AC buses on specific routes, because if there is an AC bus, they can demand a bigger ticket price, because they can say instead of a ticket price, let's say 20 rupees, now they can demand 40-45 rupees, because they can say, look, it is the AC, and then they can charge literally double or more than double. That's number one. Number two, in the summer and peak summer, lot of people, even though it could be double the price, they prefer the AC buses compared to the non-AC buses. Number two. Number three, because the AC buses, especially the Volvo type buses, because they have a very clear, driver workplace and better amenities compared to a regular bus. So passenger comfort is also higher, and they are also able to do. So MTC has also adapted this artificial intelligence to figure out what are the routes that they have to focus on, what would be the revenue that they should be focusing on, what could could be the turnaround time of a bus, for example, in a specific depot or a specific route, and how do they improve it. So with respect to operations, how do you improve the efficiency, and how do you not only improve the top line but also the bottom line? Okay, there are multiple applications that you see. So what you notice is the previous slide, I have taken it and they have summarized it. What you notice from the summary is whether you look, for example, banking and financial services or healthcare and sciences, high tech, media, entertainment, and all that. These are the very specific areas where AI is expected to have the biggest impact. For example, traditionally, the fintech industry has been an early adopter of technology. And what you notice is with respect to the information technology that is significantly adapted in the banking and financial sector, about 25% there is application of AI, and there is a biggest impact in that particular area. The second that you notice is on the high tech. For example, with respect to semiconductors, or with respect to high performance computing or quantum computing, etc., or even in the healthcare. For example, as Rajaji was also mentioning, for example, these days in India, unfortunately, there are 3-4 areas where there is always crowd even on a Sunday. Especially in Chennai, there is a lot of crowd even on a Sunday in what is called TASMAC. Okay, where it is the wine and the liquor shop operated by the Tamil Nadu government. There is a lot of rush even on a Sunday. Second place where there is a lot of rush in India is temple. The third place where there is a lot of rush is hospital. So unfortunately, these three places, maybe not for the temple, but for the hospital and the TASMAC shops, you notice that there is a lot of potential application for operations improvement, and how do you figure out what would be the best healthcare, etc. Okay. So even in the media and entertainment industry, where there is a lot of, for example, how do I say, digital content creation and simulations, etc., that you have to do, virtuality and AR, VR, virtual reality kind of an environment, you can also apply the AI. Okay. Then the telecommunications, because the 5G, 6G, etc. are very important, and 5G, as you may be aware, it is called software-defined network, whereas 6G is supposed to be a multi-terrestrial, means not only the space-based, but also space, drones, etc. So multiple applications with respect to the 6G communication. So that is also in the pipeline. Okay. So AI will find its place in multiple places. And with respect to artificial intelligence as a service, a lot of companies, especially the startups, etc., what they have been doing is they have been giving lots of services to companies in energy, high-tech, telecom, automotive, etc. In the automotive domain, with respect to, let us say, manufacturing plant, if let's say BMW wants to establish a new plant in Thailand or Taiwan or some Africa or somewhere, now how do they figure out what would be the plant layout, what would be the location? For example, if Tesla has to come to India, whether they should go to Gujarat or Karnataka or AP or Telangana, how do they figure out where to go and all that? So they can easily do lots of simulations, and they can do AR, VR based simulations to figure out, and of course commercials to figure out what would be the what are the pros and cons of establishing a plant in a specific area. Okay. So what you notice is vision based inventory management could be done. As I told you, self-learning and self-navigating AGVs means they are able to figure out based on the instructions that have been given to them which station to go to, and then move the goods. So that is also done. Then once you identify a specific goods, for example, there is something called a machine video perception, means you can figure out what kind of whether it is let's say Amazon, you can order a pant, or you can order a phone, or you can order a gym equipment, or you can order a TV, you can order anything. So depending on the part that you have, you are able to figure out what kind of a part that is, and then you are able to route it appropriately to that particular packaging and dispatch, etc. Okay. The next thing is what is called the vision-based intelligent sorting. Means, let us say I order multiple goods in a specific order. One could be a pen, one could be a printer cartridge, one could be something else. So you have to figure out what are those parts, and you have to intelligently sort them out, but you have to dispatch them to the particular customer's address. So this vision-based intelligent sorting can also be done. Okay. The next thing is the same conveyor belt can accommodate multiple parts. Means you cannot, if you are having, let us say, 10,000 parts in a warehouse, you cannot have 10,000 conveyor belts. So your conveyor belt should be able to figure out what kind of parts you have, and intelligently process it. For example, let us say in a airport, when you are in a baggage claim, your suitcases are of different sizes, different shapes, but it is able to figure out if there is a specific a suitcase that is there, and then it will stop it, or it will move the suitcase. Okay, so it's the same concept even here. Now, the next thing is autonomous delivery fleet. For example, you can have either a driver or a driverless. This could be within a warehouse, or this could be to a destination. This could be done. Okay, so it could be guided through GPS, or it could be guided through specific DSRA based systems that could remotely ensure delivery of specific goods. That can also be done. Then there's something called a warehouse management system. Means you can conversationally enable a warehouse management system. Means you don't necessarily have to go to a computer and type something. You can speak, and then the speech is interpreted, and then it will confirm whether this is what you wanted. If you say yes, then the conversationally enabled WMS system will process the order or move the goods. And of course, there's something called an inspection. Means whether you are dispatching the right part. Lots of times you notice that somebody has ordered an iPhone, but they got something else in the package, etc. So how do you make sure that your order dispatch is foolproof? So there has to be inspection also. So what you notice is there are multiple applications for AI/ML. One is what is called the robotic process automation, as I told you. The second thing is natural language processing. Means if you have to have customer engagement, or even the processing of specific orders within a warehouse, you can really easily employ this natural language processing and different technologies to minimize the error and maximize the production of the efficiency. The third thing is what is called the conversational agents, because lots of times there could be mistake between what a customer has entered vis-a-vis what is the part that you're trying to identify. If you have to minimize the errors, etc., you can have what is called the conversational agent, who can directly figure out what is the part and how do you pick from a specific warehouse and how do you route it to the destination, etc. So all these things are being done right now. Okay. For example, lots of times you notice that this is not within a country. There could be cross borders. Let us say within an EU, something may be going from say France to Netherlands, Netherlands to Germany, Germany to Switzerland, etc. So you have to have that particular optimization cross borders also. The same happens in India. For example, you may be ordering a part from Delhi. You may be sitting in Kanyakumari. So it has to come from Delhi to Kanyakumari. So it has to cross through multiple states in some places. It may have to cross through different warehouses, etc. So all these things could be done through intelligent tracking and AI-enabled logistics systems. So all this could be done. So of course, for any system to work in any industry, it needs tons of data. Okay, unless you build the data, unless you build a model that gets developed based on the training of that model from the data, your AI may not work. Number one. Number two, with respect to, I gave you the example of machine learning algorithm. There is a supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement, deep learning, etc. So we have the AI guys have to figure out what is the correct application of machine learning for that particular application. Okay. So the machine learning algorithms have to be figured out. What is the right approach for that particular problem to be solved. Okay, that is very important. And the next thing is organizational challenges around technology, process, and people. Because let us say there could be a specific CTO or CIO. Okay, that particular individual may be very keen on implementing certain things, but there could be a management change within an organization. So the person who comes next may not be keen on doing this. So as a lots of times you notice that the process implementation or process improvement or an AI implementation, they will get stopped halfway. Okay. So this is also another challenge in lots of organizations. The next thing is the technology provider company. So you have to identify who is the right vendor to help to improve your logistics and warehousing. What is the service that particular AI vendor is bringing to the table, and how do you correctly map the technical problems to the associated data, and what are the right algorithms that have to be used. So this dialogue, this planning has to be done very, very accurately and very thoroughly, because this is a very key aspect of the implementation. Okay. The next thing is the use cases need to be understood. As I told you, what works in a Maruti plant, for example, or a Maruti warehousing may not work in an Amazon warehouse, and what works in Amazon may not work in, let us say, a IKEA store. So IKEA store is different, Maruti store is different, e-commerce is different. So the understanding of the specific use cases and the domains have to be thorough, and accordingly the AI and the algorithms have to be applied. Okay. Then of course the policy makers, if you have specific government policy makers, or if you have specific management within the organization, how do you ensure that the AI techniques, because lots of times AI also is not perfect, means there could be some bias, there could be some wrong predictions, etc. So how do you figure out if there is such a challenge? How do you figure out that you are not getting sued or there are no legal implications, etc.? So that is also important. Okay. Any questions so far? Then maybe I could go to the specific slides on the Atmanirbhar.
Yes, sir, you can proceed, sir.
Okay. So what you notice is the technology aspect has been realized, in the sense even in India, lots of companies are adapting some of these AI, etc. So in India, as you may be aware, there are two specific freight corridors at the moment, and of course more freight corridors are being planned. The idea here is to improve the freight movement, and of course reduce the turnaround time at ports and different warehouses, etc., and then make sure that the ease of doing business, the movement of goods, etc., is much better. Okay. So what you notice is today Eastern DFC, it is actually fully operational. Sorry, it is operational, not AL is missing here. Sorry about that. So it is fully operational, whereas WFC only in one specific case, I believe because of land acquisition problem, it is incomplete, but otherwise it's almost like 85% complete. So this data is about 4 months old. So WFC is almost like 85% complete, and the EFC is fully complete. So what today they are doing is, I don't know if you are aware, with respect to summer, we always had a challenge with respect to coal movement. I don't know if you have, your memory is good. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of load shedding, and there was a lot of power cuts in different states in India. For example, even in Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, etc., there was lots of power cuts because the Coal India Limited and then the different power generation companies and distribution companies, etc., they did not forecast the demand properly, and they did not place the order for coal. And even if they placed the order for Coal India, these guys could not deliver in time. So Modi government had to intervene. They had to run specific goods trains. They had to reroute lots of goods trains to make sure that the coal movement is there and the power supply was not impacted. So this time what they had done is, with respect to Eastern Freight Corridor, in fact you can Google it and then find out, the movement of coal, etc., has been perfectly normal, because they learned the lessons. They said, okay, these are the mistakes we made, these are the lessons we have learned, and through the EFC this year there has been literally zero load shedding and zero loss of power in any state. So that kind of improvement has been seen, especially through the EFC. Now something very similar is happening in the WFC also. Okay. And the biggest advantage of this is it connects multiple strategic business corridors within India, and also connects the specific ports. Okay, so that's one thing. This is primarily through rail network at the moment, and in some cases roads also. In the sense, the roads and the rails, they could be traveling together. These are the actual statistics that are available in the open domain. So this is the success story of Niti Aayog. What they have done is, successfully they have reduced the turnaround time from more than 3 days to less than 2 days today. So this is the actual figure that is available in the open domain. You can access this information in the Niti Aayog or some other website is there. Now, this came as a surprise to me. I don't know if this data is right or wrong. I'm hoping it is right. What this says is, USA today has more than 1.5 days, almost 1.5 days, whereas we have less than 1 day in specific area, the turnaround time. So this came as a total surprise to me, and we are really doing really good compared to, let us say, Canada, Germany, Singapore, all these countries. We simply doing really good. So I think this information, and of course this is the logistics performance index, and this was available in the website, and this is a proof that our inland waterways, the dedicated freight corridors, the development of ports, etc., and of course building of highways and all that, the infrastructure is reaping we are reaping benefits, and the fruits of those efforts are being seen here. So that is why what you notice is, if you notice this particular slide, ease of doing business, we have actually gone from say 130, I told you, to about 63 now. That is like we have literally climbed almost like 70 points, 70 rankings in the last say 8 to 10 years. Okay, so this is really good. Of course there is still room for improvement. The challenge here is is there are very specific areas where we have not exactly made improvement. For example, enforcing contract. This is where a lot of companies, especially SMEs, they are complaining that sometimes they are getting a hard end of the bargain. So the enforcement of contracts is not being done. So this has been a complaint. And if there are specific challenges with respect to let's say trading across borders, even within India, let us say between Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or whatever, even within India, trading across broader borders is still a challenge. Means it has come down, but it has not come down to the level that we want. Okay, and of course, the good news is the construction permits, etc., has come down significantly, because what Modi ji has done is he has removed lots of permits, and he has doing what is called the self-attestation. Means you can do self-attestation, you can upload all the documents on the websites, etc., and then the approvals are given. So for smaller companies, the SMEs, this is where Nirmala Sitharaman ji is still trying to figure out. Getting credit for this one is still a challenge. So these are some of the areas where we still need improvement, but we have made a significant stride from 142. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much. Anil Joshi ji.
Good evening, sir. I think very interesting lecture. Hear me?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
I have just one question. Actually, you are talking about this Cochin, this connectivity at the airport and the metro.
Correct.
At least in Delhi, what I am aware, last 2 years, we have this connectivity on the airport express line with the sort of baggage thing. This has been working in Delhi for the last 2 years. I think this is a very, very good facility for the people traveling, also for the airlines. So probably I think everywhere this type of thing is very useful sort of technology, where you can have multiple boarding points for air traffic. So I think whatever you are trying in Cochin and other places, I think it's a good thing. I have one question on the broader side of e-commerce. E-commerce in India, I was reading somewhere, has still, I think, around 10% of the total commerce. Basically, it's not that, although it's grown exponentially, it's not that high even now. So I was just wanting to know what is the progress on this open network digital commerce started by Nandan Nikeni ji. Is it really moving, or it is only talk on this integrating the e-commerce players and sort of allowing lot of retailers to join in? Is it growing?
Sir, that GEM, I don't know if you know, in fact, there was a speech by Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji also. This GEM, the global e-commerce marketplace that India has done, what they did was they started implementing this, I think, about 5-6 years ago. Then they realized that there were specific challenges and some people were taking advantage of some loopholes. Okay. So they close the loopholes now based on the feedback from different vendors, etc. Number one. Number two, even in the GEM, they realized that some of the terms, as I told you, the credit terms, etc., were not favorable to some companies. So they try to address that. That is the second thing. The third thing is middlemen, elimination of middlemen. Even in the GEM, sometimes they realized that the middlemen were not exactly giving the benefit to the end producer. For example, if there is a farmer or if there is a SME in Uttar Pradesh or Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, whatever, if they want to sell a specific produce through the GM, etc., they could not do it because there were the middlemen were still trying to control it. So lots of these kinks are being removed right now, and this feedback has been taken. And it is being done. So,
as far as I know about the GM, I think the major handicap is coming that you have to pay a fees. As a supplier, you have to pay a fees. So a lot of MSMEs are not willing to join. So that is one major.
Sir, if I have to purchase a movie ticket today, I have to pay a fees. But if I have to satisfy my wife and my kids, I have to pay that. I have no choice.
So that is one handicap. But people say that how to enter that, because people
very simple, sir. Everybody the problem in India is entitlement culture, where everybody wants everything for free. It's not going to happen. I mean, if you want the technology, if you want the provision, then a minor fee or whatever the fee, that has to be done. So fair enough. What is the fee, and can it be slab based in the sense if an SME has a specific turnover, they can pay different kinds of fees? That is a moot point, and that is a policy decision. But without a fee, somebody availing some facility, I think that is going to be a challenge.
More like a platform fee, that is right.
Yeah.
That is the pain point.
Yeah. Again, that's a policy thing, nothing to do with technology.
Right.
Nothing to do with the process improvement or whatever.